Welcome to day 8, initiating the process group, or welcome to day 8, initiating process. Starting strong, the foundation of project success. I want to give you a round of applause because if you've made it here, that means you've taken your first mock exam. And I want to say congratulations because it's important that you guys continue to make progress throughout these iterations, agile, throughout these days because as you begin to build upon your knowledge, you're going to get more and more comfortable with what we're learning, the terms, and how to answer P&P like questions. So hopefully you did well. And we're going to get into the objectives for day 8 moving forward, talking about the initiating process group. And if you've been doing any of the processing map games, you will have a head start on a lot of this stuff and understand what goes into which process group, which process goes into what process group, right? And then which knowledge area each process tackles. So moving forward, the objectives for day 8 is to understand the purpose and significance of the initiating process group, learn the key processes, develop project charter and identify stakeholders, explore tools and techniques used during initiation, and prepare for situational and knowledge-based questions on initiation. So the overview of initiating process group is that the initiating process group is where projects take their first official breath. This stage defines why a project exists, clarifies what it aims to achieve, and establishes what will be involved, who will be involved. By the time you finish the initiating process group, you've aligned project objectives with the organizational strategy, set the stage for what success looks like, and secured the necessary authority and resources to move forward. So, why is it significant? Well, it establishes the clarity and direction. Without a clear starting point, projects risk wandering off course. Initiation ensures you know the mission, desired outcomes, and the boundaries of your endeavor. Secures authorization, right? You gave them that formal approval that you'll need in order to start the project itself, and then lays the foundation for planning. Initiating is like building the foundation of a house. Once it's solid, you can confidently plan, build, and adapt the structure above it. So the P&P exam, you're going to have to understand the initiation phase, why it's critical, right? You may encounter questions asking how the project charter or stakeholder identification influences later decisions. So understanding these basics will help you tackle these questions moving forward. So first process within a process group of initiation phase is develop project charter, right? The develop project charter process formally authorizes the project. Think of the charter as your official mission order. It is not a detailed plan that comes later, but a high-level document that provides the project manager the authority to allocate resources, engage stakeholders, and make decisions. And so think of it as a pitch, right? This is what you would pitch to sponsors, stakeholders, potential stakeholders, in order for them to invest into this project itself. And what you're going to have on there is business documents, right? The business case, benefits management plan, and it's going to outline why the project's initiated, its expected value, and how it supports the company's or organization's strategic goals. It's also going to have some EEFs, right? Market trends, regulatory requirements. These are going to help project how and why it's relevant in today's day and age for the organization itself. And then you're going to use organizational process assets or OPAs to convey this information. The tools and techniques that you'll use within this process is expert judgment, data gathering, interpersonal and team skills, and then meetings, right? Expert judgment, you're always going to leverage that, right? Leverage the experts within your industry in order to understand the effectiveness or the actual value that you'll see coming out of this project. And then data gathering, right? Brainstorming and focus groups help refine initial objectives and identify potential challenges that may occur during the project. And so with these tools and inputs, right, you'll be able to create the output or the project charter, a concise, authoritative document detailing objectives, constraints, assumptions, and the assigned project manager, right? Assumptions log that'll also be an output that you'll have. And it's an ongoing record of assumptions and constraints that may need to be revisited as the project unfolds. But basically, it's what you would use to plan off of. And so it's the assumptions that you have about the industry, the assumptions you have about the project itself, the assumptions you have about the market trends that will allow you to plan from there and create an effective argument for why you should initiate the project. Example, for a new product launch, the project charter might summarize the product concept, outline the desired market impact, and state initial funding limits, highlight known risks like tight deadlines or vendor dependencies, and officially name the project manager responsible for bringing the product to market. PMP exam insight, right? The exam may present scenario-based questions where conflicting objectives or unclear authority appear. Knowing how to develop and use the project charter helps you select the best response. Often, the first step is to refer back to the charter for guidance. The second process that you'll see during this process group is identify stakeholders, right? The identify stakeholders process determines who will be involved, affected, and interested in the project. Understanding stakeholders early prevents surprises, minimizes resistance, and sets the stage for effective engagement strategies throughout the project. So the inputs that you'll see during this process group or process itself is project charter, business documents, EEFs, and OPAs, right? You'll use the project charter in order to see who would qualify as a stakeholder within this project, right? And often that'll emerge from the objectives and the scope defined within the project charter. Business documents that you may use may highlight key customers, regulatory bodies, or strategic partners. And then also you'll use EEFs and OPAs, and you'll see that you'll use more often than not the same inputs in order to have the different outputs, right? You'll use the same inputs to gather information and utilize them and leverage them, and tools and techniques as well, right? You'll have stakeholder analysis, data representation, interpersonal team skills, and that's something that you see when creating the project charter. You'll see the same tools and techniques and inputs that are used in each process in order to have and create the output. And so for the outputs for the identify stakeholders is the stakeholder register, right? That's the most important document from this process, and it's a living document that lists all the stakeholders, their roles, their level of influence, and preferred communication channels. What that's going to do is give you a baseline for how to contact them, who to contact in terms of who you should notify about significant changes in the project based off their influence. It's going to allow you to have a better understanding of what you're dealing with in terms of stakeholders in general. Change requests, right? Identifying a missed high power stakeholder may require adjusting the scope or communication plans, right? So change requests and how those are going to be implemented. And then project management plan updates. Incorporating stakeholder information ensures alignment with communication risk and resource management strategies. And then I have an example there. Basically on the exam, you might see questions where overlooking a key stakeholder creates issues later. Your answer should reflect the importance of a thorough initial stakeholder identification, as this can save the project time, money, and friction down the road, right? So like as you're identifying stakeholders, you want to make sure that you're meticulous about it, because who you identify and who you don't identify can affect how the project moves down the street. So common tools and techniques in initiating, like I said, you're going to have common tools and techniques. You're going to have common inputs. But the first common tool and technique is expert judgment, right? Leveraging seasoned professionals ensures decisions are rooted in experience and best practices. These people who are experts in the field or experts in the industry or experts on a specific topic are going to give you the information that you need to make coherent and sound judgments. And so if you aren't leveraging experts, right, within the industry, you are doing yourself a disservice, right? You are trying to take on the responsibility of understanding a market that is 20 years in the making, 30 years in the making, that took, it took these experts, all this time to, you're taking all the responsibility of understanding the market itself, understanding the nuances that come with the market. And so you don't want to do that, right? You want to lean on others who have been